Bleacher Report decided to redraft the 2003 NFL Draft. Now, I'm a sucker for these. I absolutely love and adore these, mainly because you're like, oh, what were they thinking? Oh, didn't they know that dude was going to be a bust? Then they know that he's going to shove a whole key up in his nose. It's weird, right? As well as, how did that guy not work out? Or, how did that guy fall to the 7th round or go undrafted? It's really fun. So let's walk through what they did and critique their work, because that's what we do for hashtag content. We just critique other people's hashtag content. So 2003 NFL Draft, of course, that's the famous Kevin Williams. Oh, the Vikings were on the clock and they just got leapfrog, and they still got a borderline Hall of Fame player. In my book, Kevin Williams is a Hall of Famer, but of course, biased. But let's look back at the 2003 NFL Draft. What actually happened, then we'll get to the redraft. So Carson Palmer won, USC Heisman Trophy winner, Bengals, pretty decent Bengals career, then went to the Raiders for a couple of years, resurfaced, had a late career resurrection with the Cardinals and Bruce Arians. Boom. So Lions, continuing on this tradition of just drafting a wide receiver high, see if it'll work. Charles Rogers is up there with one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history, and you got like Mike Williams, and eventually they hit it out of the park with Megatron, but Matt Millen, just keep hacking. There you go. Andre Johnson, borderline Hall of Famer from the U. Dwayne Robertson, 4 Jets. Oof, that's rough. Plus, you traded up. So what'd they do? They traded up from 13. Either way, they trade up. Yeah. Terrence Newman, Cowboys 5. Woo. Yeah, people forget how high Terrence Newman was drafted. Stud. Was great with Mike Zimmer. They linked up in Dallas, followed him to Cincinnati, then followed him here to Minnesota. John Sullivan, and not the good center. Yeah, defensive tackle from Georgia, bust. Byron Leftwich, could you say that he's a bust? I guess for number 7 overall, but he was a very solid, competent starter for a number of years for the Jaguars. Then you got Jordan Gross, who was a Pro Bowl left tackle. He was awesome. Kevin Williams, stud. T-Sizzle, the pride of Minneapolis, St. Paul, go Twin Cities. He ends up going to Baltimore, and we know the rest of the story there. Marcus Trufant was solid. And then, man, Jimmy Kennedy actually played for the Vikings for a hot second. Not so much. Ty Warren was pretty damn solid for a number of years. Michael Haynes, no. Troy Polamalu is going to be a Hall of Famer. Or, no, he's in the Hall of Fame. There you go. Cardinals, Brian Johnson. That's your big move, huh? Brian Jeff from Penn State. Kyle Bowler from the All right, so the Ravens had 2 first-round picks. How'd they get a hold of that? So Baltimore acquired this pick for second rounder. Baltimore's first round. All right, so they trade up a second and a future first to get Kyle Bowler, which is just Brian Billick. Mama, no. Sexy Rexy Grossman. All right, so the Bears traded down. They were at 4. Then they pick up Rex Grossman, quarterback of the future. Captain No Neck coming from the Gators. Sure, whatever. Willis McGahee. Now, he probably would have been a high pick, except he tore his ACL in the Fiesta Bowl, which is unfortunate. But still, first-round pick by the Bills here. Willis actually ended up having a really damn solid NFL career, especially when he's with the Browns and I believe was with the Broncos. Yeah, because he was with Tebow and the Broncos, right? Also a couple years with the Ravens, too. Boom. But, yeah. Dallas Clark, first-round pick. Yeah, the string of Iowa tight ends started with Dallas Clark. William Joseph from the U. Larry Johnson. How many running backs are being drafted in the first round? Yeah, Larry Johnson, who they're going to put 5,000 carries on per season in Kansas City, just playing Marty ball. Cool. Nnamdi Asomugha. Yeah, it's just, you go through every single name. Yeah, Peanuts there. Rashawn Mathis was a great cornerback for a while. E.J. Henderson in the second round. Henderson! I love E.J., number 56, man in the middle. Ken Hamlin was pretty solid. Anquan Bolden went in the second round. The quarterback wide receiver from Florida State. One of the toughest wide receivers to ever play the game. Briggs, Witten. And, of course, do they have the UDFAs listed here? Oh, this is the draft that the Vikings took Ontario Smith. Actually, let's look through all the Vikings picks, and then we'll get to the redraft. So Kevin Williams, stud. E.J. Henderson, stud. Nate Burleson, stud. Ontario Smith, he did give us the Wizinator, though. Yeah. Eddie wait, you drafted a punter in the 6th round? Eddie? Actually, if I remember, Eddie was like okay for a hot second. Mike Natil from Florida. Keenan Howry from Oregon, no. And then it notes that the Vikings messed up with their time management. Cool. Also, Ryan Hoag, the pride of Gus Davis, was Mr. Irrelevant that year. It's cool, whatever. So, redraft. Let's get it on. So, number 1, Romo. Yeah, the pride to Eastern Illinois. Go Panthers. Well, Sean Payton, douchebag Sean Payton was the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach for the Cowboys during that time. So he went to his alma mater and was really adamant about getting this UDFA Tony Romo. So they got him. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a great announcer as well. Never really won the big game, but also put up Lulu stats all over the place. So very solid quarterback there. He goes to Cincinnati. Does that work out the same? I don't know. Number 2, so the Lions, they decide to go with Carson Palmer. Now, this is before Joey Harrington, I want to say. All right, so they get their signal caller of the future there. And that makes sense. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah. They don't go wide receiver. Houston still goes Andre Johnson from the U, which is great. And since this is a redraft, Charles Johnson he ain't getting drafted at all, which is great. Just great. Troy Polamalu to the Jets at 4. Ooh, I love that one. Again, they went Dwayne Robertson, the defensive tackle out of Kentucky, who was supposed to be the next Warren Sapp, and he was not. He was not the next Warren Sapp. But yeah, Troy Paul. It's tough for the Texans because, Andre Johnson, respect, is a borderline Hall of Famer. Carson Palmer, you do go with the quarterback tax. But if you had Troy Polamalu going second, I mean, I wouldn't be mad. Second or third, I wouldn't be mad at that at all, even though safety is a less important position. But, no one changed the complexity of the game like Troy Polamalu. Like, you always knew where he was on defense. He really is akin to how offenses approach Harrison Smith. And fortunately, Harrison doesn't get as much pub as Troy, but it is what it is. Next up, number 5. So they get their tight end. They got Jason Witten in the 3rd round out of Tennessee this year. But then they got Antonio Gates, basketball player from Kent State, UDFA, Hall of Famer, stud. Wearing 43, his first training camp. Oof. It's rough. Terrence Newman drops, unfortunately. Number 6, so the Cardinals keep the stud Terrell Suggs in state. Arizona State to the Cardinals. The path set by Rod Tidwell from back in the day. If you know that reference, you were the best. So they pick up a Hall of Fame edge rusher. It's great. Yeah, so they're just stacking it up with all the Hall of Famers and Carson Palmer to begin with. 7. The Vikings still get Kevin Williams. Kevin Williams in the pantheon of Vikings greats. So the Vikings have so many good defensive players, right? I feel like defensive linemen especially, where I feel like Kevin Williams gets lost in the shuffle a little bit, where he was a bad man for just so many years. He's a borderline Hall of Famer and he's just a great player. I think he really is underappreciated because whenever everyone talks about, hey, they should retire number 93, it's always about John Randall. It's not so much about Kevin Williams, but it certainly should be. So respect there. So the Vikings still get their guy. 8, Jaguars get Witten. Cool. So remember, the Jaguars leapfrogged the Vikings, who were at 7. They took Leftwich, but they take Witten. Well, Witten in his prime was a dude, but maybe we're just jaded by how bad he was on Monday Night Football, and as well as how slow and how incompetent he is as a later career guy. 9, Panthers still get Jordan Gross, rock solid Pro Bowl, All-Pro left tackle. I mean, it's really hard to screw that up. 10, the Ravens, so they miss out on T-Sizzle, but they still get Robert Mathis, which is just great. Where Mathis, probably a borderline Hall of Famer in his own right. Certainly up there on the all-time sack list. But so he went the 5th round. Wow, damn. 11, Nnamdi. I don't know, man. I don't know about this specifically. Where he was really good, specifically in what the Raiders did schematically on defense. I don't know if that translates to other teams, as seen by when Nnamdi signed up with the Eagles and the Dream Team. It really just did not work out. But all right, so they took Trufant. I still might take Trufant. I don't know. 12, the Rams. So they originally took Jimmy Kennedy, but they go Lance Briggs here, who went to 3rd round of Bears. Where Lance Briggs was a damn good linebacker for a number of years. Him and Urlacher were a great linebacking tandem. Chicago for a number of years until Lance Briggs just kind of got sick of it and started opening restaurants, and it was just like, I don't care about football anymore. 13. So the Bears still get Peanut. So they drafted him at the top of the 2nd round. And so they didn't trade back here. But yeah, again, Peanut, son of Michael Haynes, coming out of Penn State. Peanut was a stud, man. FBI agent now. He's awesome. One of the few Bears players I actually respect. Actually like him. Yeah. 14, So the Patriots originally took Ty Warren. Ty Warren was solid. Probably won't be a first-round pick in this redraft, but getting Asante Samuel, who they eventually got anyway. But yeah, because they took him in the 4th round. Asante Samuel, for like a hot second, was one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Probably say that he was top 3-4 for a long stretch. Pretty decent time. Yeah. So 15. Chargers originally took the trade down, took Sammy Davis Jr. Out of Texas A&M at 30, but they picked up Chris Dielman. UDFA was a really solid interior offensive lineman for a number of years for the Chargers. Really led the way for LaDainian Tomlinson and company there. Makes sense. Chiefs. So the Chiefs trade down, took Larry Johnson, but they get Quan. Yeah, it's all about the Quan. You are an ambassador of Quan. It's a second Jerry Maguire reference on this video, but man, I love Anquan Bolden. By the way, Anquan would have been at Florida State when Joe Mauer would have been at Florida State if he would have committed there. Would have set up a really unique dynamic, because Quan actually played a little bit of quarterback at Florida State. It was good. Next up. So the Saints originally traded up. Oh, wait, they traded up and took John Sullivan? Oh, it's a bad beat, bro. But getting OC. OC was a big part of that 2007 Giants Super Bowl team. Like, OC was a damn stud. OC was really, really good. 18, so Terrence Newman, draft day slide stops. So they originally, so the Saints have back-to-back picks, I guess? Sure, whatever. But yeah, so they get Terrence Newman here. Makes sense. Terrence Newman was really, really good for a long time. 19, so Dan Coppin. They picked him up in the 5th round, ends up being a first-round pick. Yeah, Dan Coppin was another damn good interior offensive lineman for a number of years, where it's almost, you pick up these day 3 interior offensive linemen, they turn into great starters, Pro Bowl players, and like it's almost like they're boring, but you forget how damn important they are, especially in today's modern NFL when the interior pass rush is starting to reign supreme. 20, so Calvin Pace still goes. Ooh. All right, so Calvin Pace originally was 18th overall to the Cardinals, and Denver ends up picking up. They picked up George Foster, who was okay, bit of a journeyman starter. Actually, wait, he has most of his time with the Steelers. Doesn't matter. So 21, Dave Deal. Speaking of those, another day 3. Now would be day 3 to your offensive line. So they originally drafted. The Browns originally drafted Jeff Faney. I believe he was from Notre Dame. Didn't work out, but yeah, Dave Deal's a stud. Absolute stud. Bears, Chris Clemens out of Georgia. Sure. So he was originally UDFA, but they decided not to go with sexy Rexy Grossman here, which, as a Vikings fan, it's really unfortunate. Buffalo Bills, so they forego Willis, even though Willis recovered from that ACL, ended up having a pretty decent career. I mean, Larry Johnson, like those Chiefs teams really cranked out, top tier bell cow running backs. You look at Priest Holmes, you look at Larry Johnson. I mean, they were, if you were in fantasy back in the day, like Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson was the guy to get at. But Larry Johnson was just an absolute battering ram, so he can go do that thing for the Bills until they draft Marshawn Lynch. Yeah. So 24 Colts, again, Rasheed Mathis, Bethune-Cookman, originally was a 2nd-round pick. They get him, they know him from his NFC South prowess for sure. 25, so Marcus Trufant slides, originally was 11th overall by the Seahawks. They took Nnamdi. I don't know if I agree with that one, but yeah, Marcus Trufant, keeping him in state, coming in from Pullman, Washington State, he was really good. He's a stud. 26, so Corey Redding coming out of Texas, originally was a 3rd rounder by the Lions. Yeah, Corey Redding had a decent career, with the Lions. He was pretty damn decent. Again, that's why he was a 1st-round pick here. Kwame Harris was the original OG 1st-round pick, 2003 by the Niners. Not so much. Quentin Michael coming out of Boise State. Quentin Michael was pretty damn good for a number of years. It was originally UDFA. Steelers, they don't get Palomalu, but they still get a pretty solid safety in Michael. 28. All right, so Nick Barnett, originally 1st-round pick by the Packers. I mean, Barnett's like, whatever. I say whatever. 29, the Packers get Gary Brackett out of Rutgers. I love Gary Brackett. He was a UDFA. He was like 5'9", and he just racked up so many damn tackles for the Colts. He just really was, that Ed McDaniel-esque. He's too short. He's too slow. He's too whatever, and he was just a rock star. Yeah, I love Gary Brackett. Fortunate that now I have to hate him with the Fury of 1,000 Suns because he went to the Packers. 30, Chris Kelsey coming out of Nebraska, second round pick by the Bills. They took Jerome McDougal. That didn't work out. Boom. 31 Raiders, still in the cornerback market. Take Ike Taylor out of Louisiana Lafayette, original fourth round pick by the Steelers. I like Ike. 32. Jeremiah Bell was a sixth-round pick by the Dolphins. He was a pretty damn solid safety for a number of years with the Dolphins. They originally drafted Tyler Brayton. Yeah, didn't quite work out there. But, the big shakeup was Romo going from UDFA to number 1 overall. I don't know if I agree with Palmer still being 2, where he had an okay, decent, solid career. But you're really taking Carson Palmer over, you know that Andre Johnson is a borderline Hall of Famer. You know that Palomalu is a Hall of Famer. You know that Antonio Gates is getting in as well. You're also passing up T. Sizzle and also Kevin Williams, 2 other Hall of Famers. I don't know. Let's draft Joey Harrington. Just continue that cycle of just atrociousness and sadness that Lions fans, of course, know and love. And that's it. Bleacher Report redrafted the 2003 NFL Draft, and those are our thoughts on their thoughts. What are your thoughts on our thoughts of their thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Pull some of the Venmo. Please give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skull, production value.